What's going on, everybody? Here we are once again, another week, another episode of Just a Fan podcast. Just a few fans that know a whole lot about football. As you already know, this is Tristan TV, the man with the gift and the gab. Over to my I got it this right this time. Boom. Over to your right, my left, the man, myth, legend, the closest thing that we got to a professional on this show, professional athlete, Mr. Steve White. What's going on, big dog?
What's going on? I don't know about all that, but I'm here.
Hey man, hey, look, he humble, y'all. He humble, but the highlight tapes are out there, okay? The highlight tapes are out there for sure. And just below me, right here, like I said before, and I say always, it is the human NFL encyclopedia. Brandon Williams. What's going on, big dog?
What's up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
everybody?
yeah. And then last but certainly not least, again, the chaotic one himself. Call him Mr. 49er. That's I'm gonna name him. Mr. 49er. Mr. Chaos himself. Pando.
Mm.
Eric Wright. What's going on, Pando?
What's up? What's up?
Listen, man, listen. This is an episode. Normally Eric's the one that's like going off in our group chat talking about something he can't wait to get on
We got it this week.
so he could talk. It's normally Eric. Normally Eric is the one. He's like, oh, I can't wait to get in, and he got something to say. But this time, I'm gonna be honest. It was me. You know, the normally calm, cool, collected Tristan. I just be like, oh, we're gonna have a good show. We're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be nice. No, 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 no. I got some stuff to say. Okay, I'm coming in. I'm coming in hot today. I'm coming in hot today. I got some stuff I got to get off my chest because this
With the
past
chest.
weekend this past weekend has just been listen, here's the
It
thing.
was
I'm gonna just
crazy.
start. Let me get it off my chest, guys. Let me get it off my chest, okay? Let me
He's
get it
about
off
to
my
throw them
chest.
hands like 85 Tyson.
Let me get it off my chest, guys. Here's my thing. And I'm gonna start off with this game. We're gonna start off with the Raiders versus the Chargers. Some people said it was the game of the year. I mean, when looking at the quarterbacks and how they did, how they played, how they balled, I mean, it was definitely worth the watch. Like most of the time, you'd be like, oh, I don't, you might have to go to work the next day. You're not going to stay up or whatever, and watch, the late game or whatever. But with the implications that were there, and watching a young stud in Justin Herbert, you watching Derek Carr constantly trying to prove himself to prove that he's truly the franchise guy. I mean, they dueled it out. It was a great game. It was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. They definitely do. They made both of them made crazy, crazy throws. Crazy throws. Now, I say all that, and I'm a preference this by saying the implications of this game. Okay, the implications of this game was if they tied, okay, tie the game.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers are at home, and the Raiders and Chargers are playing this weekend.
Did Coach Staley know that? Do you think he knew that?
I don't know, but
He had to have known.
I want the people to know that just in case if y'all weren't aware of the implication. If they tie the game, the Raiders and the Chargers play, and Big Ben enjoys his retirement. That was the implication. Okay, that was the call. Here's my thing about Brandon Staley, and I'm gonna put up the video so you can see the reaction on his franchise quarterback's face. Okay, here's the scenario: we're in the fourth quarter. Okay, it's a tie ball game. All right, the Raiders do everything and put themselves in position, and all consensus is that they're just going to run out the clock, tie game. Both teams go home happy because they had a great game and they get to play in the postseason. But no, no, we have the super smart, thinks he's smarter than everybody, boy wonder, boy genius, Brandon Staley, calls a timeout with 38 seconds on the clock. Calls a timeout. Timeout. And to the disbelief of everyone, the Chargers sideline is shocked. The Raiders shocked. I'm going to put the video up while I'm talking. The whole sideline is shocked here. I mean, we are all surprised. Justin Herbert, you see him. I thought we were going for the tie. So everybody understood the assignment except for Brandon Staley. Now here's my frustration. Here's my frustration with Brandon Staley. When you have a coach that feels he's too smart for his own good, we've seen it so many times in the NFL. When you have a guy that feels he's too smart for his own good, you are put your team, your franchise in a position where any decision that he makes, good, bad, or indifferent, he's always going to feel it's the right decision. And no one can tell him that he's wrong. No one can say to him that he made a mistake. No one can say to him that was a dumb decision. No assistant coach can challenge him. No GM can challenge him because he is the genius. Okay? We saw how many times have we seen it in the NFL? We saw it with Chip Kelly. We saw that same situation. We've seen moments of that with Sean McVay. Okay? We've seen these. We say that one time, Eric?
Kyle Shanahan.
We've seen it with Kyle Shanahan. We've seen it infamously with Adam Gase. We see these guys that come in, and Josh McDaniels, another one. We've seen these guys that feel exactly. We've seen these guys that are the coach wonders. They got this brilliant coaching mind, and they're basically too smart for their own good. So here's the deal. They're saying, and I'm glad you're saying something, Kevin. So Kevin said, I don't think he cared. He said he's a competitor, wanted to win, and that's his assumption. You are fine with your assumption. But Kevin, you give him too much credit. You give him too much credit as a head coach to say that he's a competitor. He is just an idiot. Go ahead, Steve, because I got a whole lot. Go ahead.
I just want to just insert this. The tough part is them getting to overtime was a battle alone. I think the Chargers converted 3 fourth downs.
Yes.
To even get to overtime.
Yes.
Like that last drive.
Yes.
And so they barely even got there in the first place. They worked hard just to even get the opportunity to possibly tie. But go ahead, you can continue.
So here's the thing. So you don't allow the tie to happen, and now you go home after your franchise young stud QB. I mean heroic in the game. I mean doing everything he possibly could do. And all he's left to do now is sit on the sideline and watch his head coach make him go sit on the couch for the rest of the year. That's all he was helpless. All he could do was sit there and watch his head coach ruin a hell of a game and a hell of a performance of his own. Okay? Now here's the thing. Here's who I'm really mad at. The Chargers organization. Let me go ahead pull up my notes because I told you I took notes. Okay? So let me go ahead and put up my notes. Okay. So, Brandon Staley was brought in to fix the defense of the Chargers because he's a defensive mind, right? Okay. That was the reason. The defense didn't do enough to help the offense for the Chargers to compress. That's why they let Anthony Lynn go. Okay, so that's what it is. So let me put up these stats here. Okay. So Brandon Staley, right? Brandon Staley, defensive mind, defensive whiz. Okay. And I'm going to tell you the Chargers rankings. Okay. The Chargers defensive rankings for the whiz. Okay. Going through each and every game of this season. All right. You have these Chargers that are ranked below the middle of the pack in defense. Your secondary is almost ranked last. Your linebackers are ranked last. The only thing you have to show for your defense is your pass rush. And that's not even by you. It's because you have that boy Bosa over there. It's the only reason. You let go of his partner in crime in the offseason that helps him offset the double team that Joey Bosa would have got. Okay? This is the defensive whiz. Okay? You let him go, And then your secondary struggles. You have no corners. Your only rank in your secondary is really Derwin James, who can't stay on the field. You have no linebackers. This is you as a defensive coach. Okay? And now, let's look over Brandon Staley as a head coach. Right? Since he's been in. Brandon Staley's record as a head coach. He's ending this season as 9-8? His win percentage is 52.9 since he's been the head coach for the Chargers, right? 52.9. Let's look at Anthony Lynn. Because this is the thing that I need franchises to understand. You cannot fire a coach in position of building your franchise. And we're going to talk about another franchise that did this. You cannot fire a coach that's in position trying to build your franchise. And then when he's on the cusp of having it together, you let him go because you think you can get somebody in that's going to give you a quick fix. You had Anthony Lynn deal with Phillip Rivers for all these years, knowing that Phillip Rivers was getting long in the tooth. All the injuries that was coming. Michael Williams couldn't stay on the field. Keenan Allen couldn't stay on the field. Your offensive line was in shambles. We didn't know what was going on with your running game until Eckler started coming around. That's what Anthony Lynn was dealing with for all those years, trying to get this team together. You finally get him a franchise QB. And instead of letting him run his system as an offensive mind, the way he should have had it with a young franchise QB, you decide to let him go and bring in Brandon Staley. So Anthony Lynn, okay, his record, his win percentage is 51.6 when he was with the Chargers. 51.6 to 52.9.
Not much of a swing.
But it was the defense that was the only thing that was keeping the Chargers from advancing, right? The Chargers have been doing this for years. This isn't new. Ownership of the Chargers have done this for years. They did this when Schottenheimer was there. They did this when they had that whole squad. You had Sean Merriman, Phillip Rivers in his prime, LaDainian Tomlinson, all these cats, all these guys, and then you just started dispersing them one by one. One by one.
Why do teams do that, man? They'll win 11 games and fire someone, but you know what? I'll bring someone brand
We got to make a change.
They'll get us 12 wins.
Because everybody thinks they can be New England. Everybody thinks you can turn the tide and just have this machine running. Listen, I don't know what voodoo witch that Bill Belichick swore his life to, or what blood offering that Tom Brady served his life to. Whatever it was, it worked for New England. It doesn't work for your team. It doesn't work for your team. And this is the problem. And again, we're going to talk about another team. This is the problem that I have with minority coaches that don't get a fair shake. You went and got this guy because you said he was a defensive whiz kid. Your defense arguably was worse than it's been the past 4 years this year. And so now we have to stick with this guy when you got a franchise QB, and we have to stay with this cat because you are saying that he's the next genius. He's the next smart guy. He's the next whiz kid in the NFL, and we got to give him time. Y'all remember his press conference when he was talking about all those guys that are criticizing me, they probably don't really know much about football. No, the people that were criticizing you were all head coaches. Some of them were Hall of Famers. These were the people that were criticizing you. It wasn't the random Joe Schmoes. These were people that had played the game, that understood what you were doing was incorrect. And now you're wasting a talent, and you're wasting an offense. Keenan Allen's not getting any younger. The offensive line's not getting any younger. That defense isn't going to get any younger. So
Mike Williams is a free agent.
And Mike Williams is a free agent. So you're literally wasting talent. You're wasting talent. And you have, honestly, if you look at the roster on paper, there's really no reason that the Chargers should not be in the postseason right now. There's no reason that they should not be in the postseason except for the boy wonder, Brandon Staley.
I think he really showed his age as far as coaching. I don't know what it is about these division games, but people just get emotional and they want to stick it to their division opponent, and they just make a bad decision that bites him in the butt eventually.
Ask Sean McVay.
Exactly. They're all like this. It's like you got to round all these young coaches up and give them a beating to try to discipline them back and get them back in order. Like it's like the young coaches are kind of running amok and someone's not reeling them in. Like you cannot make those kind of decisions. Let's not even talk about the fourth down calls that you were making all game. Let's not even go there. Like what are you doing? And I'm looking to win. These guys want to fight. These guys want to compete. There's a difference between being a competitor and having common sense. And clearly, you have no common sense.
Listen,
clearly,
man, they fought their butts off just to be able to get to overtime.
I mean, I wish I had the video of the throw that Justin Herbert did in double coverage in the red zone, game on the line, throws a dart to Mike Williams to get them into overtime. He did everything he physically possibly could.
Remember
to
first
stay in that game.
The first one, remember, got them to within 9, and they got the 2-point conversion to put them within 7. Stop the Raiders. Went down again, 4th down, a couple 4th downs. The last one, dart again from Herbert, just get to overtime. And this guy's come out here. Wow, I couldn't be me, man.
So now we're going to go into the offseason with the Chargers. If I'm a Chargers fan, I'm going into the offseason realizing that I'm dealing with Adam Gase 2.0. That's really what I'm dealing with.
No.
I'm dealing with Adam Gase 2.0. And we saw what Adam Gase did. There's got to be like, first of all, with Adam Gase, there's got to be like a 30 for 30. You got to have a 30 for 30 for him. I've never seen a one individual sabotage 2 franchises the way he did with the Jets and the Dolphins. I mean, he set them back for years. Years. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there's only one guy that I can think of.
Bill O'Brien did one.
Bill O'Brien did one. I was about to thank you.
Bill O'Brien did one. You absolutely right.
And what's the most criminal thing of all is they're about to give him the opportunity to try to tab another one.
Don't get me started about Jacksonville. He doesn't even get the call. How do you even have that on your list for Bill O'Brien to even get there? Did you see what happened in the national championship? I bet you took him off the list now. Did you see what happened? This is my thing. And this brings me over to Miami. The Dolphins have not been relevant. I'm not even going to say since Dan Marino. When Ricky Williams was in his prime and peaking, Ricky Williams was doing his thing and was keeping them relevant. He was keeping them relevant. They haven't been relevant since prime Ricky Williams. Okay?
Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown.
Yeah,
right.
They had 1 year Ronnie Brown.
With that whole Wildcat thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So they haven't been relevant since then, right? Brian Flores took a team that was truly stripped down to the bone by Adam Gase. Okay? Stripped to the bone. And he said, okay, I know we got a lot of work to do. We're going to build this thing up. And you fire him after he swept the New England Patriots, after he had a winning streak. He went 8-1 in the last 9 games. Went 8-1, had a chance to be in the postseason. Mm-hmm. You fire him because there's a power struggle with your general manager, the same general manager who hasn't drafted a quality offensive line in 5 years, the same general manager that brought in Adam Gase in the first place and saying that he will make the team better, the same general manager that instead of taking Justin Herbert went with Tua Tagovailoa. That same general manager, that's the one that you took Brian Flores when you had a pick between Brian Flores and Ross. You stuck with Ross. That guy. Brian Flores has improved the team each and every year. And you went and fired the man that had you on a 7-game win streak. To the point that people were really thinking that Miami was going to be in the playoffs with Tua, with a bad offensive line, and with Tua as your quarterback.
2 weeks
They
ago,
were playing some inspired football. And first thing first, if you sweep the New England Patriots, who basically have been the class of the division for God knows how long, even though, Brady's not there anymore, they still got a magnificent defense.
Yes.
And you're able to do that with what he has to work with. That should say solidify his job right there. He didn't just beat these guys; he swept them.
Yes.
So it was like, okay, we beat you the first time, and then they come back around and they beat the brakes off you the next time. It's a fluke. No, sir. He beat them both times. He beat them in Miami, and he beat them in New England.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you fire a coach that basically everybody in the division is trying to beat this team, and you fire a coach that actually was capable of doing it?
And not just that. Some of the losses were very close games. There are some teams there are some fan bases. You have Miami, you have Carolina, you have the Chargers, you have the Texans. There are a few others. Their fan base, they have more than one favorite team. A lot of those fans have A and B teams.
Yeah.
Like they have two favorite teams in the NFL.
They don't have a choice because things is just so bad.
Exactly.
Like,
and stuff like this is going to make them go hard for another team. Those fans usually have two teams that they root for.
Hey, I got a coworker, man, and he is from Miami, and he's a diehard Dolphins fan. But even he don't watch the game. He don't watch the games. He's like, because they're gonna find a way to screw it up. They're gonna find some kind of way to screw it up. I'm like, dude, so the Dolphins balling, man. They at this point, I think they had maybe won 6 out of their last 7 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they are playing some great football, man. And he was like, I don't care. They're gonna find a way to screw it up. I said, but even if they don't make the playoffs, they're gonna be pretty good the next year. They got a bunch of cap space. You got these draft picks. You got, man, y'all on the way, dog. Dude, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I'm telling you right now, they're gonna find a way to screw it up.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Juan Ramos. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, he's like, dude, they're gonna find a way to screw it up, and he was right. I showed up to work, bro. They just fired Flores. He say, "See."
Listen.
That was his reply. See.
Listen.
I mean, everyone was shocked. Everybody. It was like when the news broke, everyone just kind of was like, "What? What you mean? What you mean fired for what?" Like that's how they treated it. It was like, for what?
Right.
And then when it came out,
there's obvious candidates that was like, okay, we know he gone. But when they said if Brian Flores came across my phone,
yeah,
I'm like, are you for real?
Yeah.
And then we came on our group and like Tristan was going ham. He was losing it. And I was like, okay, he feel like I feel. You just a little bit more vocal about it. But yeah, I was like, bro, you don't fire a dude that's doing his job and the team is trending up. He improves every year.
Every year.
He's rewarded for it. He gets fired for improving every year, getting better every year.
Because of a power struggle.
He won't be out of a job.
He deserves to be in purgatory until Jesus come back. Bottom line.
Basically.
If you're going to do that, your team deserves to be in purgatory until Jesus come back, because you've been praying for a great coach. You've been wanting a great coach. You've been, oh my God. It's like a story Pastor told the church one time. We'll make this real quick. But he said, little old lady was in a flood. She's in a house, okay? And the water got up to her porch. She's standing on the porch. Guy passed by in a little old boat. Said, lady, I'm going to help you. Get on the boat. She said, oh, no, that's all right. Jesus is going to save me.
Right.
He said, okay, we drove off on the boat. Water got a little bit higher. He got up on top. She got on top of the roof. Another guy came in an even bigger boat. Lady, let me save you. Jump in the boat. She said, that's all right. Jesus is going to save me. So the water got all the way up to her chest. She's standing on the roof. The water's up to her chest.
Mm-hmm.
Guy comes by in the bigger boat. Lady, please grab my hand so we can get you out of here. She said, that's all right. Jesus is going to save me. Water went up over her head. She drowned. She died. But she was saved, so she went to heaven. She got to heaven. She said, Lord, I had faith that you was going to save me. He said, well, I sent you help 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally how it is with them. That's
Miami
literally the Miami Dolphins in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And it's just like we've gotten now to the point where, I mean, we were saying it, but when I'm listening to some of these networks, they were all saying, they were like, the Dolphins are never going to be good because this is the stuff that they're talking about. It's like
stuff like that.
Stuff
like that.
And let's look at it from the other side. If I'm a head coaching candidate, if I'm a head coaching candidate, I don't want to go down there.
No.
Well,
I want to go down there.
Well, check this out. How many head coaches and GMs have they had since 2000? Because Jimmy Johnson was no longer coach like in what, 99 or something like that?
Right.
How many head coaches and GMs have the Dolphins been through? That's how dysfunctional that franchise has been in the last 20 years.
Oh, and by the way, due to his firing, they're out of the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes because
Deshaun wanted to play for Brian Flores.
Exactly. He was the main reason why.
Ouch.
That was even a possibility.
That hurts.
You just shot yourself in the foot both times. You shot yourself in both feet.
And then the owner wants to the GM wants to have the audacity to say, well, we weren't looking at Deshaun Watson. Well, yeah, you can't. It's not that you weren't looking. You can't look. Like we're not in that place anymore. Like the ship has sailed. And it's just
there are teams with franchise quarterbacks that will still like, hey, let's look and see.
Let's just take a gander.
You was a ball face line. You talking about we wasn't looking at this shit. You was a line and a half.
Look, Denver reports that the Dolphins was willing to give up 3 first-round picks, like 2 second-round picks, and some players to get Deshaun Watson. So they told a bold-faced lie.
They literally have opened the door for other teams to now really take a gander at this because Deshaun really wanted to play for Brian Flores. He really wanted to do that. So now you've opened the window. You've opened the window to make that happen. Yeah. You've opened the window. So I just between the Chargers and the Dolphins, two franchises that back in the day you love to watch. You love to watch, and I think for football purists like us, for fans like us, when you see these franchises that were in such great heights before, be reduced to what we see today, it's sad. It's sad to see.
Poorly run franchise.
It poorly ran.
I'm telling you, man. Those teams their fans already have another favorite team. I'm not being funny. They have 2 favorite teams.
Listen, all those people that were Dolphin fans, they're Tampa Bay fans. All those people that were Dolphin fans, they're Tampa Bay fans. Yep. LA Chargers, their fandom barely exists. They need to go back to San Diego. That was the first mistake. They need to go back to San Diego.
How you gonna relocate then lose?
How you gonna relocate and lose? And then you're competing, but you say that, Eric, but the Rams are where? In the playoffs.
In the playoffs, okay. But
they're in the playoffs.
I just like to announce that the adoption papers have gone through. Sean McVay is officially Kyle Shanahan's son. Kyle Shanahan is officially Sean McVay's daddy.
Listen,
because you get beat down 6 times in a row.
Look, and it's not just a beat down. Like you said in the group, Eric, you had a quarterback with a bad finger. We're talking about a torn ligament and a fractured bone. You had no offensive tackles on the field. So you had 4 guards and a center on the field.
Yep.
And your secondary was a bunch of backups, which might as well just been the 4 of us out there.
Yeah.
And the 49ers come back down 17-0 and beat you in overtime. And Eric, what you and I have been saying since day one? The Rams' offensive line is trash. I've been saying that since I've been. Hold on.
We said that before the season started.
Exactly. I said when the Rams lost that Super Bowl to New England, they lost the guard and the center. They never replaced them.
They never recovered.
And the 49ers front 4 exposed that same weak offensive line that they're about to take into the postseason. Good luck with that.
Matthew Stafford was hit 13 times.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Matthew Stafford threw what 2 interceptions in that game.
Well,
He did.
The thing, like Matthew, you have to. I think I say almost every week. He is responsible for a lot of Detroit losses when he was in Detroit.
Hey.
Yes.
He's responsible for a lot of losses. He had a lot of weapons offensively in Detroit. He is responsible for a lot of losses. And Matthew Stafford is shown in LA, he still makes a lot of the same mistakes.
But
he has more toys.
But you know what? You know why I still give Matt Stafford a bit of a pass? Because he had coaches. I'm gonna tell you, he had coaches in Detroit that said you are a gifted thrower, and we're just gonna use that. When he was most successful was when Jim Caldwell was there, and Jim Caldwell said, "Hey, less is more. Sometimes it's okay to take the check down. Sometimes it's okay to make a run." That's the difference. No one ever tempered Matthew Stafford. No one ever reeled him in to say, "Hey, you ain't got to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game." No one ever. And so now going over to the Rams, Sean McVay's doing the same thing. Sean McVay, you got to the Super Bowl. Why? Because Todd Gurley was your featured offensive weapon. You ran the football. Why are you trying to do this now? Because you got Matt Stafford. You basically just put him in the same situation.
Let me tell you why.
Shotgun empty formation.
I'm gonna tell you why. And Sean McVay is really not thinking, but he is thinking in a way. Because if you look at the San Francisco 49ers top to bottom on defense, where would you say the weakness is?
The secondary.
Secondary. Specifically, not just the secondary.
The corners. Yeah.
Okay. So San Francisco is number 3 against total yards. They're number 6 against the run. So if I'm going up against a team that's number 6 against the run, but I know that the corners are suspect, I'm gonna take shots at them. So I don't blame him for that but the defense stepped up. Now what's funny is that Raheem Morris needs to be drawn and quartered because you knew we was gonna run the ball on you. You still couldn't stop it.
But here's my thing. Here's my thing though, Eric, and I hear you.
They've been playing that way against everybody.
I hear you, but when I look at this,
Stafford has
so they started the season. They started the season kind of doing it the right way. He was 20 of 26, 27-38. 1930 wasn't great, but the total his attempts were low. Then we started going to 41, 48, 42, 45. Like, why are we? You don't have to do that with Matt Stafford. You have a system.
Pass attempts.
Yes, past tense. You're basically asking him to do what he did in Detroit. And the only reason why his stats are looking better in Los Angeles than it was in Detroit is because he has more toys. But the results still remain the same. So what's the common factor? The common factor is Matthew Stafford. You cannot put the ball in his hand the entire game and expect to win the game, just like Steve said. Matt Stafford is gifted enough where you can give him a couple throws. You just need him to make a couple gifted throws to win you the game. That's it.
I was telling some of the Rams fans I know, if y'all establish a run, you'd be very dangerous, but they don't establish the run.
Super dangerous.
If they don't get out of the first round of the playoffs, he would not be more successful. He would not have been more successful with this move.
But here's the thing, Steve. It's common sense. We see it. You went to the Super Bowl with running the football and Jared Goff as your QB. Why would we not go with the same formula, but with an upgrade at QB? So some of those key throws that we need, like the throw that Jared Goff threw in the Super Bowl that McCourty intercepted. If that was Matt Stafford's throw, it probably wouldn't have been intercepted.
And they have better receiver. They have better receivers.
So those are the things that I'm looking at. Like, why are we going away from what worked? Like, it's that old adage: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why are we going away from that? All you did is plug and go.
No,
but guess what? And the thing is too, what makes it worse, Sean McVay's offense, his foundation is the same as Kyle Shanahan. They had the same background because they were together in Washington. Were they not, Tristan?
They were.
Okay.
We had three current head coaches on our coaching staff.
McVay, Shanahan, and Matt LaFleur. I know.
Yes.
Listen, I think it's a thing where I said it last week. Coaches that are offensive guys that have good quarterbacks, they want to show their genius is
Yes.
by picking apart defenses with the quarterback's arm. Every coach, every young coach wants to be that guy that has his young QB that can just throw darts left and right 50 times a game and just kill their opponent.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's an ego thing. That's all it is. It makes no sense, but that's what these coaches want to do.
I agree. Let's move this along because we could talk about that one all day because we just don't understand.
I'll let you know that the adoption papers have gone through.
Let's move on. Let's move on to some of these other coaches. Let's talk about this intriguing one, and it's because we have been hyping up the possibility of Jim Harbaugh returning. Let's talk about the Bears. The Bears firing Matt Nagy,
and the general manager,
and the general manager Pace.
Hey, man, Ray Charles could have seen that coming, man.
I mean, you're right. You're right.
I called it last year because they made the playoffs. Their OC was having the play calling duties. My year before, Nagy had play calling duties. Last year, the playoff year, they had a different guy calling plays. At the end of the season, Nagy said he will retake play calling duties. I said, "Oh, he's gone because they won't win," and that's what happened.
Yeah, and I mean, you're really wasting a really good young talented quarterback. And I tell you what, the interest. We want to talk about Harbaugh. The interest in Las Vegas for Harbaugh, and the interest in Chicago for Harbaugh, or anywhere else. Let me tell you something. I'm being real here. And y'all know what I'm about to say. If this man is able to get back into the NFL and get to a team where they give him autonomy over the personnel, it's going to be a problem.
Yep.
People are not understanding how good of a coach Jim Harbaugh was, and the only reason that he did not win a Super Bowl in San Francisco was one, a blind referee who don't know how to call defensive holding, and then also Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke messed everything up. Trent Baalke destroys everything he touches. I mean, look at Jacksonville. Okay? So if he's able to, you take that equation, the part out of the equation, you take the meddling GM out of the equation, and you let Jim Harbaugh come in, you let him show up at a team like Las Vegas where there's a young Derek Carr. He's not so young now, but he's still in his prime. Okay? Or a young Justin Fields in Chicago, where he could develop that. You remember how everybody was calling Alex Smith trash until Jim Harbaugh got to San Francisco?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he's in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
So like
saved his career.
He's that anomaly, like they talk about on the Matrix. He's that anomaly that one of those few coaches that can win on the collegiate level, then take it to the NFL and win on the NFL level. The man's worst record was 8-8 in the NFL. That was his worst record.
Yeah. No, he's gonna be a problem wherever he goes. Like it's
gonna be a problem.
They're gonna be successful immediately, whichever team he goes to.
And then he has a bargaining chip because he could easily say, "Well, Jim, we don't want to give you that much control. You know what? That's bet. I'll go back to Michigan. They paying me enough already.
Yep.
Y'all need me more than I need y'all.
Yep.
I just stuck my head in the door to see if y'all want to coach? Y'all want to win? Oh, okay. Well, this is what I need. I need control. I need Vic Fangio back as my defensive coordinator.
Yep.
And then because y'all about to find him in Denver, that's great. You got a job, Vic. Because we did that thing in San Fran.
Sure did.
Okay?
Right.
So that's what I need. I need autonomy of who to draft, who to bring in free agency. I just need a GM to make it work with the cap. That's it.
There you go.
Well, we can't do that, Jim. Bet. I'm finna go back to Michigan.
Yeah.
Yep.
And real talk, in that Super Bowl against the Ravens, man, before the lights went out and all that stuff, I mean, the momentum was crazy for San Fran's way.
It was San Fran.
They could have easily won that game. I mean, he could easily have a Super Bowl title under his belt right now.
For sure.
Yep.
I'm still looking for that referee that didn't call defensive holding on.
Hey, leave him alone, man.
It's gonna be on site. If I see that dude, it's on site.
On site.
Yeah. Please believe it.
Don't incriminate yourself, man.
Okay.
Stop right there.
All right. We'll be quiet.
But now that since Pando went ahead and said it, we can talk about the next head coach. So Broncos firing head coach Vic Fangio. Now here's the thing. Now this one didn't really have no controversy to it. Everybody kind of saw this, and the writing was on the wall. Here's the thing. There are some coaches that are not supposed to be coaches, but they're excellent coordinators. And Vic Fangio is a hell of a defensive coach, hell of a defensive coordinator, and and it's okay. I mean, I felt the same way about Wade Phillips, a great defensive coordinator. Feel the same way about Rex Ryan, great defensive coordinator.
North Turner, coordinator.
Great offensive coordinator. Just not meant to be head coaches. It's a lot. It's a lot to manage being a head coach. It's a lot to manage, and you really gotta be able to multitask and have your hands in everything, but also not have your hands in too much. Like, you really gotta know how to be a puppeteer, being a head football coach. You really have to know that. Yeah. So this was one of the ones where it's like, Vic Fangio, not really surprised. You know what I'm saying? Like, it had to happen. The Broncos really, they've been trying to figure it out since Peyton been gone. Who really need to get fired from the Broncos, for real, is John Elway. John Elway need to fire himself.
So, actually,
that's who need to get. Real quick, Brandon. John Elway. I've said this on my other show, Rolling with Ramos, which we will be returning. Rolling with Ramos. Shout out to my girl Mikkel. I said this for years. John Elway is the Michael Jordan of GMs for the NFL. It's what it is, because he can't.
No, you can't say that.
Yes, I can.
No.
Yes, I can. Steve, I'm gonna tell you why.
They got Chip.
No.
Yeah.
Steve, that chip don't count, Steve.
What do you mean don't count?
You had Peyton Manning, who still clearly, to the chagrin of Jim Irsay, clearly still had something left in the tank to do what he had to do. And all the stars aligned at the right time for Von Miller and them boys to do what they did in the Super Bowl against Cam Newton.
Marcus, I got you.
That was a great defense. In that Super Bowl.
You can't say the chip don't count.
It don't count. John Elway cannot find a QB to save his life.
Listen,
you do realize. No. See, it's people like you. Steve. You gloss over because Peyton Manning put this rose-colored vision in your face for 5 years. This is people like you. This is why he's still employed. It's people like you that have this whole thing. Peyton Manning won us a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning had us in the Super Bowl twice. Peyton Manning had all these passing records when he was with the Broncos and blah, 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 blah. You do realize that John Elway spent a first-round pick. We want to talk about what the Green Bay Packers did with Jordan Love. He spent a first-round pick on Paxton Lynch. We never heard of him anywhere in life. No one ever heard of this guy. But here John Elway, oh yeah, he's got the physical tools. He's 6'4", got a big cannon for an arm, da-da-da. Paxton Lynch probably packing groceries somewhere. He's the opposite of what Kurt Warner was. Like, that's what happened. But we are all ignoring it because Peyton Manning. You do realize if Jim Irsay wasn't an idiot, Peyton Manning probably would have never been there. So he would have never had a Super Bowl. He wouldn't even have sniffed it. It wouldn't even have been close. Because his starting QB would have still been Tim Tebow. That's what would have happened if Peyton Manning, and he didn't even recruit Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning decided to come there. Peyton Manning said, I like your team. I like Demaryius Thomas. I like your run game. I'm going to go ahead. Let me go over there and help y'all out real quick. John Elway, let me go ahead and give you some assistance since you can't pick a quarterback to save your life. The most successful QB other than Peyton Manning in John Elway's tenure is Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is the most successful QB in his tenure other than Peyton Manning.
But you can't take that. He somehow got him. You can't say he's a Michael Jordan because he had a championship. No matter what.
He's the Michael Jordan of the NFL when it comes to GMing. because he cannot find a quarterback to save his life. He drafted Drew Lock. He drafted Drew Lock and ain't even give Drew Lock a fair shake. He don't even know what to do with Drew Lock. Drew Lock don't even know what to do.
And Jordan drafted Morrison first round.
Exactly. You're making my point. You're making my point. You spent 2 first-round picks on QBs that you don't even use. You don't even use them. 2 first-rounders. 2 first-rounders, Steve.
What better can Jordan bring in to win him a chip? Listen. I get the GM miscues. I get it, but
miscues. He spent 2 first-round picks on QBs that he won't play.
Under his belt.
That he won't play. Teddy Pendergrass came over to the Denver Broncos and took the job from Drew Lock like it was nothing. Like it was nothing.
You can't say his Super Bowl don't count. You can't say that. You can't say his bowl don't count because he won it. You can't say that. You cannot say that.
He went along for the Peyton Manning ride because Peyton Manning still had some left in the tank and had an all-world defense. Had an all-world defense for 1 season. Had an all-world defense
and
was able to beat Cam Newton.
And Jordan went along for what ride? Because he barely makes the playoffs. So what ride did Jordan go to?
It doesn't matter. Have the Broncos been relevant since Peyton left? Have they been relevant? Have they been relevant since Peyton left? Were they relevant before Peyton left? Oh yeah, they were relevant because Tim Tebow beat the Steelers in round 1 of the playoffs. It's the most success. That's why they still talk about Tim Tebow in Denver. They still talk about him because that's all they can hang their hat on. Tim Tebow and Peyton Manning.
It's the John Elway versus Jordan thing. Elway has a chip. Jordan doesn't. How? It doesn't matter.
Elway has a chip because Peyton said, "I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna help y'all out."
And Jordan doesn't have one. Why?
So who you gonna compare him to? So who you gonna compare John Elway to?
I don't know, but
the Michael Jordan of the
NFL. Someone who has a chip. I don't know who, but someone who has a chip.
I promise you, John Elway is sending Christmas gifts to Peyton Manning's kids every single year. He's probably waiting for his nephew to be eligible for the NFL. That's when he's gonna pick the right QB. So 10 what is that? 10 years down the line, we're gonna finally get a correct QB because he's gonna pick another Manning. Come on, man.
Whatever gets you a chip.
Now whatever gets you a chip, huh? Okay.
You can't say he's the same as Jordan because he actually won his league's championship.
That's cool.
Jordan didn't as a GM.
That's cool, Steve.
Or whatever.
That's cool. Peyton Manning decides to come over there. They win the championship. But he can't draft a successor. Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian. But okay, fine. He won a chip with Peyton Manning, the Hall of Famer, already established in Hall of Fame. And Jordan would never have to play a down. He would have never had to play a down in Denver and was already a Hall of Famer. But okay.
And Jordan won food. Jordan won food.
Ding, ding, ding.
Since they're equal, Jordan won food.
They are equal because they both can't pick franchise players. I mean, Jordan, he might have got lucky with LaMelo. He might have got lucky this time. But John Elway has still yet to find a franchise QB.
They not win no chip. You stop it right there.
Mortal Kombat.
I thought I was brought on to be the fiery one.
Steve, listen, man. I deal with Broncos fans. That talk like this.
Listen, I'm saying no. I'm not saying I'm saying they're not the same. One won a chip. One never even came close. Can't got the first round of playoffs.
What did John Elway get you for Christmas, Steve? What John Elway get you for Christmas, dog?
Facts, Tristan.
What did he get you for Christmas, man?
These are facts, man.
Man, come on, man.
He won a Super Bowl.
Man, come on. He won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. He won a playoff game with Tim Tebow, too. You want to crown him for that, too? He beat the Steelers with Tim Tebow in the playoff game. You want to crown him for that, too?
He actually played great with them, actually. They actually played great with the Denver Broncos.
You're going to give me gray hair, man. Listen. You're the reason why John Elway going to stay employed.
I'm saying Jordan has not come close to success of John Elway, man, as an executive. It's a fact.
Yeah. If you give Michael Jordan LeBron James, he probably be in the finals too. Shoot. He probably would be there.
He probably would be there.
If you give him a Hall of Famer, give him a Hall of Famer, his team be there. Give him a Hall of Famer. If LeBron said, hey, I want to go play in Charlotte, I want to slow down my life, you know what I'm saying? Just hang out in Charlotte, North Carolina for a little bit.
But until he gets a finals championship, he not on John Wick's level.
You acting like
Am I lying, Eric?
you acting like Peyton. You acting like he found Peyton somewhere that no one knew. Like Peyton just came, just fresh.
He won the league.
Peyton could have retired and never played a down in Denver and was a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Listen, he won a champion. Now, the first time he got crushed by Seattle, and he stayed there. It ain't like he came to Denver and just the red carpet was out. No,
the red carpet wasn't out for Peyton.
I'm saying he didn't get there and win everything right away.
He broke a lot of records right away.
Okay, and Jordan's guys did what?
Sorry to the Baltimore fans. Yo, you remember that 7 touchdown performance? Sorry, Baltimore fans.
And
sorry.
Jordan,
my bad.
Jordan brought in who to win what?
Man, come
it's
on,
a fact.
Man.
You don't gotta like it. It's a fact. I'm not lying. This is what happened in real life.
John Elway, you need to fire yourself, sir. Get somebody else to look for some talent. Do Denver a favor.
Actually,
this what happens.
Tristan.
Go.
Before you went on your rant, I was going to tell you that John Elway doesn't make personnel decisions anymore, even though he's still in the front office. They have a general manager by the name of George Patton who makes the.
It's still, trust me, it's still John Elway.
He
making the final say. Trust me, it's still him. He did that because people were starting to give him heat for his decision making, so he put a buffer in place. It's still him.
That's wrong, Tristan. Because listen, and hear me out. If he was in Washington or Doug Williams did that, brought in whoever was old and won a Super Bowl, you wouldn't be comparing him to Michael Jordan.
What? If Doug Williams did that?
Or if John Elway was in Washington,
and
he won Super Bowl, and drafted back after that.
When they win the Super Bowl, Steve?
I said if John Elway came to
Washington, but when did he win the Super Bowl, Steve?
2015,
right? 2015.
When did Michael Jordan win the finals?
Listen. It's been 6-7 years. It's about to be 7 years. When the Super Bowl started, it'll be 7 years.
Hey, I'll take
to the
that
day.
Personally. I'll take that personally.
7 years to the day that they won the Super Bowl, and he's yet to find a QB since then.
And Jordan has who?
LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo okay. All right, let's move on.
Wait, before Brandon and Eric, does anybody want to chime in about this?
No, I think he's covered enough. I think it's that topic enough. So we can.
That was George Foreman versus Muhammad Ali.
Hey, listen, Steve, I still love you, but you crazy.
I'm just saying what happened. Now, mind you, I don't give a daggone about Denver or the Charlotte Hornets. I just said what was out there.
I'm sticking with what I say, man.
Okay.
I'm flat-footed, 10 toes down. Let's go on to another head coach firing that we can all agree on, and that's the Giants. And I know Brandon has some things about it. I know we can all agree on about this thing is crazy. So
stretching and everything. He's stretching.
Yeah, go Brandon. You have the floor, man. You take the lead for this one, Brandon.
Joe Judge is fired, and I tell you what, I remember when he was hired, man. You went off, Tristan.
I did
because you was like, "Who the heck is this Joe Judge guy?
Yep.
Who's some Bill Belichick disciple, another failed Bill Belichick disciple." I'm not counting Brian Flores. I'm not counting.
No, right.
But Cornell, Weiss, Patricia, Bill O'Brien, this fool, and a couple of McDaniels. Okay, this is another Bill Belichick disciple failure. Stop hiring these Bill Belichick disciples. It doesn't work. It didn't work with Jimmy Johnson disciples, with Norv Turner, Dave Wanstead, and Butch Davis. It didn't work for Joe Gibbs disciples. Cut it out. Stop. Joe Judge did absolutely nothing to be a head coach. He's gone after 2 years. They do this after firing Dave Gettleman, who destroyed the New York Giants, who should have never been a general manager because the previous general manager, Jerry Reese, won them 2 Super Bowls within 5 years.
Talk your talk.
These last 5 years for the New York Giants, unfortunately, they have not had a winning record above 500. I mean, yeah, above 500, even within the regular season. Let me say that again. The last 5 years, this is Joe Judge. This is the coach before him, and the coach before that one. Because they've had 3 coaches in 6 years. In the last 5 years, they have not had a winning record even within the regular season. That is a terrible franchise, a dysfunctional franchise. And you talking about stripped to the bone? Adam Gase did, yeah. Dave Gettleman stripped this New York Giants team pretty much to the bone. Yes, Steve.
Is it unfortunate?
Well, actually, you know what? For me, being a Cowboys fan, I can really care less. But
you know what? No, I care because I want them to keep him so they continue to be bad.
Oh, of course. But yeah, okay.
It's only up, so they're probably going to improve with whoever they bring. I don't like that. I don't like that. Keep Joe Judge.
But see, okay.
Okay, so
wait. Yes, Steve. As the Cowboys fan, yes, I want them to keep Dave Gettleman, Joe Judge. Okay, but I took off my Cowboys hat and I put on my NFL hat, and I'm trying to be unbiased about what I'm saying here. The New York Giants has failed as a franchise these last 5 or 6 years, and that's
I'm agreeing. P.S. Brandon never takes off his Cowboys hat. I know it's still on you. I see it.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm trying to be unbiased here, okay?
I think.
Eric, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
So, if you just below the facts that they just are not a good team, what happened in Week 18 alone is enough for him not to just be kicked out of the.
I wish I had the video.
But off the planet.
Yeah.
You don't
off the planet.
You don't do a quarterback sneak.
I fully agree.
Third and long.
I fully agree.
Inside your own 15-yard line.
Yeah.
To run a quarterback sneak. If I am a player for the Giants and my coach calls that, I'm literally going to pull an Antonio Brown. I'm going to lead, and I'm going to see who's going to go with me. Hey, y'all want to know coach trash. Let's go, y'all.
Yeah.
But you know what? But guess what? Hey, Eric, to be honest with you, and Jay Glazer said this, he lost the locker room. The players were done with Joe Judge, and actually they were done with Joe Judge before the game started.
Absolutely.
That's probably the cherry on the top.
Yeah, because I mean, some people might argue the point. Well, they ain't going nowhere. Ain't no point. Nah, because the Jacksonville Jaguars went out there and beat the brakes off of the Colts.
Thank
you.
They
had nothing to play for.
Right.
But they went out there like, hey, man, we about to give you what for?
And guess what?
Houston, Texas, when they played the Tennessee Titans Sunday.
Yeah.
They had nothing to play for.
Eric,
they played them to the final whistle.
Eric, you talking about Jacksonville? That's with your original head coach already been fired.
Yep.
They play hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
This is my thing with and you're right, Brandon. I barely remember that, but when you reiterated it, I remember I did go in about these guys hiring Joe Judge because here's my issue. Here's the issue that I'm having. We are in a position, and this goes dating back to the Chargers decision when they hired Brandon Staley, Miami Dolphins decision when they fired Brian Flores. We're in a place right now where we're looking at these coaches that are getting these opportunities and are failing miraculously, if I could say, miraculously failing. And what's happening, what's making me upset about it is because they are constantly getting the chances to recoup and to recover and to still be bad.
Yep.
When I look at the situation with the Miami Dolphins, for instance, okay, Brian Flores was there for what, 3 seasons?
I think so.
How long was Adam Gase there?
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Like this is the damage that I'm talking about. Look at Salah. There's people already trying to come for Salah's head over there in the Jets. Well, how long was Adam Gase with the Jets? I mean, networks were at the point they were begging you to fire him, begging.
Yep.
You know, so it's frustrating because you put and this was talked about before. I don't know if y'all remember ESPN. You know, people can say what they want about Stephen A. Smith and all that stuff, but he really brought it out to light. You put minority coaches in these impossible situations with these franchises. That's when they get the chance to be head coaches.
And they still win.
On top of that.
Jim Caldwell. Hey, look.
Still win.
Look at Coley. Look at Coley in Houston. Look how Bill O'Brien left Houston, and they were competing.
Yep. When Lovie Smith was coaching Chicago, his worst record was, well, he only had one season was like 4-12. Everything else was like 7-9 or better.
And they haven't
for 4 playoff appearances and a Super Bowl appearance.
And they've went through 3 coaches since he's been fired.
Exactly.
So it's just like what more could you ask or look for in these black coaches that to let them stay and fix, because they're not really getting to build. They first got to fix what was wrong, then they can build what they want. Right. And that's the situation that they're running into. You're talking about, well, we're in rebuild mode. No, I got to fix this. I got to fix the mentality. I got to fix the culture. I got to fix the all that before I can even get into it.
But even Miami was in rebuild mode, and he still, to what I thought was exceeded expectations.
Was winning football. Yes, was winning
they almost
football.
Made the playoffs. They almost made the playoffs, like
with a quarterback that he didn't really want. It was your GM that took Tua over Justin Herbert.
Yep.
Like, come on, God. This is why they feel like we people that do podcasts like this, we keep talking about it. The networks keep talking about it, but it's because it's right there in our face. Mm-hmm. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record since he became the head coach of the Steelers. And every year y'all come for his neck.
They still be coming for his job.
And Tristan, they disrespected him earlier this year, talking about well, are you interested in the Southern Cal job?
Right.
Why?
15 years he's been winning football.
This Pittsburgh Steelers organization is a glorious job to have.
It is.
Ain't talking about go from there to college football. No, I'm not against Southern Cal. I got nothing against Southern Cal. But we're talking about Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's one of the best jobs to have.
Yes, thank you.
Well, first thing first, when you talk about Pittsburgh, shout out to my boy Mac Mitchell, who's a Pittsburgh fan. But one of the things that makes them so great is because they have patience, no matter who the coach is.
Facts.
They don't. They're
3 head coaches in their entire franchise.
They're the antithesis of what we've been talking about all night with franchises. They're like, okay, well, we made the right choice when we hired this guy, and we're not just going to just dump him because he has some rough spots. And Mike Tomlin has gone above and beyond because he's never had a losing season.
Exactly. And
if more franchises were like that, then we'd have a whole lot more winning teams.
Absolutely.
And not these teams that are just stuck in purgatory.
You know what? I remember when Pittsburgh had Bill Cowher, and there were times where Bill Cowher had some bad seasons, and networks were like, "Well, is Bill Cowher going to get fired?" And they stuck with Bill Cowher through thick and thin, and then he finally got them a Super Bowl victory. But it goes back to Pittsburgh, like I said, being very patient with their coaches.
Yeah, and they also said the blueprint. I think it was them and the Patriots since like the mid '90s, as far as like drafting.
Yes.
Drafting order and personnel to set up your team for success, like the O lineman at a certain point, then a running back and things like that. Like they set that up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, something's got to give. Something's got to give at some point. They really have to go back to the drawing board with the Rooney Rule. They need to go right back to the drawing board with that and really set some things up. Give these black coaches, give these minority coaches. Now I'm gonna really say it. Give these black coaches a chance. Give these black coaches a chance to try and build the way they see it, the way they vision it for that team.
And that bothers me. Like, I see the coaches out here, the black coaches interviewing for all these different positions. I'm like, Rooney Rule, because they have to interview black. I'm like,
They have to.
I'm like,
and it's unfortunate. Yes,
y'all not gonna hire him. Like, I want them to hire him, but I'm like,
but that alone should seem wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, it should seem wrong.
First of all, how do these teams interview 6-7 6 or 7 coaches for the head coaching position?
You
I don't even sound right. In corporate America, they're interviewing like 3 candidates for a job.
Exactly.
You're interviewing 7 of them. One's black. Come on.
How do you have time to evaluate? So you're only going, and that's the problem. They only going by the relationship. Which person they know best, which person they comfortable with, which person is not going to shake the table, and that's what we're going to run with. And that's why we're dealing with what we're dealing with some of these franchises, and they're forever in purgatory when it comes to success in the NFL because they can't get away from that. I just realized how much time we've been on here because we've been going in about these coaches. So let's move on to this weekend with the playoffs. I just want to talk about one key matchup with the playoffs because I think looking at the schedule, all of these are pretty self-explanatory as far as the matchups are concerned. The most intriguing matchup of the weekend is definitely, the most intriguing matchup is the 49ers and Cowboys because that's going to, whoever wins that game, that's going to set the tone for the rest of the NFC playoff side. I think it's safe to say, as far as the AFC, that's going to kind of write itself out. But between the 49ers and the Cowboys, and depending how the performance is really going to tell us a lot about the rest of the NFC as far as matchups are concerned. So, Eric, I'll let you take the floor on that one, and then Steve.
The thing is,
Brandon.
The thing is about this game is you have 2 really prideful fan bases. And I've been hearing this stuff and seeing stuff on social media. And let me go ahead and say, let me make sure I'm looking in the camera when I say this. Most of y'all are dumb. Okay? I'm just going to put it like that. Okay, and I'm talking to the Cowboy fans, and I'm also talking to some of my Niner fans. All y'all talking noise, and y'all sound crazy as hell. Okay? Because the people that's talking, they're basically saying, you got Cowboy fans that are basically saying this is an easy win. If you saying that about the 49ers, you obviously have not been paying attention.
Exactly.
Anything but your team, okay? If you really think you finna come into Jerry World and put up 40 points on this 49ers team, that's not finna happen, okay? On the flip side, to my Niners fans, y'all stupid too if y'all think y'all just gonna come in there and walk over Dallas. Because for every point that can be made, there's a counterpoint that can be made. When I'm looking at my playoff predictions, most of these are just layups. This one is a pick'em game, okay? Because of so many reasons. Because yes, you can bring up the point that Dallas has been playing cream puffs teams for about the last 8 weeks. This is true, but they beating the teams they're supposed to beat. Have they beaten teams with winning records? No. Now, you can say, well, San Francisco, they battle tested. But with that comes fatigue and injury. So you got to look at that. All right? So this ain't finna be no just knock down, drag out. We finna just run away with this. This game is going to go down to the wire. It's going to be a classic. Now, that being said, and I'm about to piss off everybody that's a Niners and Cowboy fan. You're going to lose the next weekend. Whoever wins this game, there's a high probability that you will lose the next weekend.
I can agree with that.
Okay? Because right now, the 49ers, this is not our year right now. We're actually ahead of schedule. Okay? The future is when Trey Lance takes over. Okay? Jimmy Garoppolo played over his head the second half of the Rams games. Notice I said the second half of the Rams game. He played over his head. He looked like a bum in the first half. Okay? All right? But the 49ers are predicated off the run. But the future is later when they start to fix that secondary and so forth. Dallas is playing well, but they're playing a weaker schedule. That's why they were able to win as many games as they had. And they still got some problems. And Brandon and Steve will both tell you what their problems are because they know I'm telling the truth. Right now, they're both B+ teams. The 49ers and the Cowboys are B+ teams. I don't care if you're mad. You can add me. I don't care. Pandemonium at Twitter. I don't care. Play with your mama. Don't play with me. But I know what I'm talking about. They both B+ teams. They're both good teams. Okay. But let's calm all the noise out. Okay. I'm talking to Cowboy fans and I'm talking to 49er fans. Okay. Because bottom line, neither one of them are ready to just walk all the way into LA, okay, in a few weeks.
And
they both got flaws. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up where you left off at. So I knew the Dallas Cowboys team their identity up until the Denver game. Right? Because you play bad teams and sometimes you struggle, sometimes you kill. We were killing everybody.
Right.
The Denver game showed me that we're capable of being trash. And literally every game after that, except for Washington, Atlanta, the Giants, and the Eagles, I'm like, yo, we're struggling against everyone except for them. So I'm not confident in who we are. I don't know who we are. I would like for us to run the ball more than we throw when that happens. With Dak as quarterback, we've never lost a game. But I know we're not going to do that because that will only make sense. Defensively, I think we'll be okay, but it's that offense, man. I don't know what version we're going to show. So I got a couple little bets out there. But like you said, Eric, getting past the first round, if we get past the first round, I'm not confident that we can get past other people because I've seen how we look against Raiders, Chiefs, Denver.
And I'd also like to add that Denver game that you guys lost, y'all lost that game because Denver ran the ball down y'all throat. What does San Francisco do?
Run the ball.
Now here's the X factor. Kyle Shanahan can be just completely stupid. Okay? Now, this game against the Rams, where Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 300 yards, Kyle Shanahan will go into Jerry World thinking he can do that with Jimmy again and completely blow it instead of just running the ball. So that's the X factor there. Here's the big one. Both coaches have, how can I put this? PG. They're screw up prone. Both coaches are screw up prone. McCarthy and Shanahan. You like everybody who's a Cowboy fan, be real, even though some people are in denial, y'all are real Cowboy fans. But everybody who's a real Cowboy fan has watched the game sometime this year and said, what the hell is McCarthy doing? He gonna cost us this game? What is it? We just lost.
And I'm gonna say this.
Every Niners fan has watched a 49ers game and said, what the hell is Shanahan doing? He about to cost us. Damn, we lost.
I'm gonna say this. I want to make at least half of our field goals. I want to make at least half. And, of course, that's not even acceptable. But for Greg Zuerlein and the Cowboys, that would be a good thing for us. So we're going to see, man. Go ahead, Brandon.
I'm going to need this offense to play like they did earlier this year. Okay? I need Greg Zuerlein not to miss field goals and extra points. And I need the special teams to block a few punts. Not just this game, but if they advance to the next round, they need to block some punts to even have a serious chance. Because I know.
That's not a common thing.
No, I know. But for us to get far and deep into the playoffs, all that's got to happen. And it starts Sunday, and this defense needs to be disciplined and physical because 49ers are going to be physical. They have that tight end Kittle. They have that fullback and Cal J. And Deebo Samuel is probably one of the most physical receivers probably since Hines Ward.
That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of defending this guy.
Deebo Samuel, okay, I don't know if y'all watched that game, but Deebo Samuel was about this far away from having a hat trick. A rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a passing touchdown. He missed the receiving touchdown. If you ask Deebo Samuel what position he plays, the answer is football.
Yes.
It's not. You play receiver? No, football.
Wing back.
You play running back? Football. I play football. Okay. Yes, he's the straw that stirs the drink in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For Deebo, I don't think I've ever really seen anyone quite like that. And I'm not saying like, you know, I know we've seen, you know, players that can play both ways, and players that can play multiple positions, but the way they use him and how effective he is, like, if he was to dedicate to one position, he'd be in the top 10 in that position. Like, that's a weapon.
And he's a top 10 receiver, and he's not even a receiver full time.
Yep, that's true.
I was telling Brandon, he's like a Tariq Cohen with like a T.O. build, but can throw the ball. He's unique, man. I don't know a guy like that.
He is. Oh, excuse me, real quick. Sorry. He is what the Vikings had in Percy Harvin if it wasn't for the migraines. If it wasn't for the migraines, that was supposed to be who Percy Harvin was because that's who Percy Harvin was in Florida. Percy Harvin was coming into the league to be like that kind of weapon that you just give him the ball. It doesn't matter where you give it to him, just give it to him.
But then Deebo is also tall, so he's also like a legit number one too.
Right, Debo's bigger. He's bigger than Percy. He's bigger than
Percy. Legit number one, but he can also do some Tyreek Hill stuff.
He's a weapon, man.
Stuff. Yeah, I'm like, I just see Randy Gregory just not keeping containment and sucking inside. And
can you imagine the dynamic of having Kittle, Deebo, the run by committee, and Trey Lance all on the field at the same time?
That's why I say
stop.
Oh my God!
Yeah, the future's next year.
Oh my God!
That's why I said when defenses play y'all next year, Eric, they're gonna have to be disciplined and physical.
Oh my!
Disciplined and physical because Kyle Shanahan. Hey Eric, let me ask you a question: is Kyle Shanahan good at least designing run plays? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So that's what I'm saying. You're going to be disciplined and you got to be physical with that 49ers offense.
That's gonna be I'm gonna look forward to watching that. I'm gonna look forward to watching that kind of football.
Trey Lance is a full training camp where he's being developed, where he knows the full playbook.
Well, he's gonna get one now
with his skill set, because the future is now. Jimmy Garoppolo is worth $26 million over the cap. If we trade or cut him, we get $26 million in cap space back,
which means he's gone.
Yeah, and then D Ford, who has not played but maybe a couple of downs for us this year, is worth $7 million after June 1st,
and he's gone too.
So you're looking at almost $40 million to play with. Okay, that's great. We don't have any first-round draft picks. That's cool. We'll go shopping. We're gonna re-sign our free agents.
Yep.
And first, and then whatever's left, we're gonna go fix that travesty of a secondary. Let me be clear, not travesty of a secondary. Travesty of a cornerback room. Okay? Emmanuel Mosley's about all we got. Ambry Thomas made a great play yesterday, but he also got beat for a touchdown. But we fixed that, and we're like, now we fought through high cotton. Okay? But right now, like, we're a B+ team. I'm just, we're at the mercy of the play calling of our coach, because Shanahan will just do something crazy tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sunday, excuse me. It just be like, what are you doing? Dallas is vulnerable to the run. Why are you not running the ball?
Right.
Or it'll just be something crazy like that, But, if they this game could go either way. I'm just gonna be real with you. And I'm looking at a one-score game. It's gonna come down to the wire. It's gonna be a one-score game.
Yep.
Everything else on my list, I got them winning by more than 2 scores.
Okay.
Everything else. But this is a pick game. I refuse to try to pick this game because it could go either way. And right now I'm looking at, if I'm leaning one way, I'm leaning more toward Dallas because yes, the 49ers are battle tested, but we've been playing playoff football for the last 3 weeks. Like, we've been in the playoffs for the last 3 weeks. We've been win or go home
Mm-hmm.
That's been our scenario for about 3-4 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that could be a plus or a minus.
Mm-hmm.
One, you could be battle tested where ain't nobody finna come in here and run us, or it could be we're so tired, we're so beat up, we're so fatigued because every week we've been in a battle that we just run out of gas. So, you know, that could happen. And on the flip side, Dallas is rested because they've been beating up. They beat up the Eagles because I mean I got the Eagles like getting blown off the field by the Bucks in my picks. You know, so the Eagles aren't really a good team. They blew out the Eagles. They were playing the Eagles backups, and then you blew out Washington. Who else did y'all beat up on? Who was it?
Giants.
We lost the Cardinals.
Joe Judge, Jesus. You know, you beat them up. You know, so the Dallas has been kind of cruising. Now that could be a plus or a minus.
Yeah,
it could be that hubris will set in where we them boys, you know, it don't matter, you know, and get beat. Or it could be while we're rested, we're healthy, we're fresh, and we come out here and do this against a really beat up 49ers team that's just been, I mean, they've been in a fight every single week for probably the last 4 weeks just to get in the playoffs. So it could go either way. You know, I can't call it. It's too close to call. So again, Cowboy fans and Niner fans up talking about this is an easy win. Shut the hell up because you don't know what you're talking about. You need to do your research because it's Niner fans that ain't doing research on Dallas, and it's Dallas fans that damn sure ain't doing research on the 49ers. This ain't about to be no easy win.
All right.
Facts.
All right.
Thanks. Ain't about to be no easy win. Hey, listen, that's honesty.
Yeah, look at Eric. He's serious over there.
That's honesty. That's honesty right there. And you know
my nerves. Everybody talking noise. I'm like, bro, no.
You know his disdain for the Cowboys. So for him to say that,
I done took off my fan hat and I'm putting on my analyst hat and I'm looking at it as an analyst. I took myself completely out of it. And it's like, y'all stupid. I'm my social media, because I'm a Niners fan, I got a bunch of friends who are Niners fans. And because I live in Texas, you're going to deal with Dallas Cowboy fans. So all of that, I went to school with a bunch of them, and all of them just dabba, just bumping their guns. I'm like, y'all so damn stupid. You have
well, well, I think that's the best way to close that out. Like I said, that's the most intriguing game for the weekend to me, because that's going to tell a whole lot. I think the writing's on the wall for the most of them, but it is the playoffs. It's you know, any given Sunday, it just takes one game. Anything can happen. So we'll see how this comes about. Next week we're going to recap on the wild card weekend. You know, see who won, see who lost, and see going forward who's going to make noise to get to the Super Bowl, whether it be in California or be in Texas. You know, with the COVID situation, we don't know what's going on with that. We're also going to talk about next week. I think we'll talk about probably the MVP race. I think it's kind of boiled down to the two between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady of who's going to be the MVP. I would have loved to see Jonathan Taylor have a crack at it, but you know, of course, the Colts.
It's a QB award.
And the Colts screwed up mightily yesterday, so that's unfortunate. But you know, we'll talk about the MVP race between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and recap of the wild card weekend. So, with that being said, we appreciate everybody for being on here. We appreciate y'all tuning in. The conversations got heated, so sorry we couldn't get to all the comments, but we see y'all, we love y'all, we appreciate y'all. Be sure to follow us on YouTube. Matter of fact, let me make sure I have our markers just to make sure. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, Just a Fan Pod. You know, we'll share breaking news updates and things like that, and different clips from the show, things like that. So be sure to follow us there. Be sure to follow us on YouTube.
And subscribe to that YouTube, please.
Yes, please subscribe. Like it, watch it, share it, subscribe to it. Please, please, please. We're trying to get these numbers up. We definitely appreciate all the support. So please, please, please follow, subscribe, like, share, all that jazz. Again, we appreciate y'all for just hanging with us, listening to us. Like I said, it was a heated discussion. We're probably gonna have more heated discussions because it's the playoffs. That's what happens. We turn up a little bit. And with that being said, I'm signing off. Anybody else got anything to say before we sign off?
Yeah, just again, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Because when we get enough numbers, we're gonna be able to go live on Facebook as well as YouTube, and we trying our best to give you more content. Also, make sure when you subscribe to make sure you leave comments about things that you'd like us to talk about, so we can get on production meetings and we'll discuss those things and just things that you like to hear. All right. So, thank you.
For sure.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. And also, I can't forget this. Anywhere that you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, just type in and search Just a Fan Podcast. You will see all the episodes on there. So just in case you can't sit down and watch our beautiful faces on YouTube, you can listen to us in your car on the way to work, whatever you want to do. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, just search Just a Fan Podcast. So this is Just a Fan signing off. We'll see y'all next week to talk about the wild card weekend. And y'all have a great one. Let's enjoy this football.
Peace.